Hey everybody, it's Kairos, back with another 5 tips video on Volibear. Verkayu was too busy lifting weights and reading Norse mythology, so I am here instead. Today, we're going to help you maximize your impact with the Thunderbear. The first tip is to improve your ultimate usage so you can execute perfect tower dives every time. Stormbringer disables turrets for 3, 4, or 5 seconds depending on level. It has several unique interactions that you really should know about. The turret aggro will follow normal targeting rules even while disabled, so that means the first person to attack an enemy or the closest person to the turret when no minions are tanking will take aggro. Stormbringer doesn't change who the turret is focusing, so you'll still have to leave range to drop aggro even while it's disabled. The easy way to tell who currently has turret aggro is to look at the dark laser pointing from the turret to its target. Usually this is a red laser, but in Volley's ultimate it will change to a darker color. It can be a bit hard to see if there are a lot of animations, but a little practice will help you spot it. So if you want to be the one to tank, be sure to damage or attack an enemy before using your ultimate. This way you're guaranteed to tank when your ult expires as long as you don't leave range. Knowing these small things will help you gain confidence when turret diving enemies and make sure they don't feel safe anywhere on the map. Tip number 2 is to maximize the odds of landing your E. Sky Splitter is Volley's most important dueling tool by far. It has % max health shield, a 2-second slow, and substantial damage to enemies. And it also grants vision, so E is a pretty power-packed ability in Volley's kit. Gaining the shield from your E and landing the slow is crucial to winning early game skirmishes. The difficulty of landing a Sky Splitter mainly comes from its 2-second cast time, but here are a few ways that you can work around that. E does have a very large cast radius, so you always want to place it in the direction you believe the enemy will be going. If they're running from you in a gank or a skirmish trying to escape, place it between them and their best escape path. This will zone them towards a less efficient path, making them burn a summoner spell, a mobility spell, or force them to eat the damage and the slow. If they're stronger than you and you're trying to escape, you can place the E behind you to discourage them from chasing or just to drop the slow and deter them from catching your teammates. To improve chances of landing the spell, you can also chain Sky Splitter with your Q stun or an ally's crowd control. This is actually one of Volley's standard combos. Place the E in the path of your enemy, then flash Q them to guarantee that it lands and that they're stunned inside the radius of Sky Splitter. In his standard E animation, Volley stands up and summons the lightning with his paw. However, you can cancel this animation by casting E while your Q is active. This brings a small advantage of deception where the enemy will only see the animation on the ground and they won't see your character going through the animation. The third tip is to weave Q and W between auto attacks to increase your DPS. Both your W and your Q can be used as auto attack resets. Mastering this has a few different benefits. In the jungle, this will shave time off your clear, which all jungle mains recognize as super important. And then against champions, you'll be able to stack your PTA and passive much faster and ramp up damage quicker in team fights. Let's compare the DPS of Volley when he's properly canceling animations versus when he spaces them out farther than necessary. You can see that canceling auto attack animations significantly increases DPS, and even small margins can be significant in those close fights. Just be sure not to cast W too early or you'll end up canceling the auto attack before it goes through. This is something you can work on in practice tool and get comfortable with. The fourth tip is to use your R for its utility, and it has some really good uses outside of just diving turrets. It makes you unstoppable for 1 second during the jump animation, so you can buffer long or slow crowd control that's incoming from enemies when you're engaging or when you're running for your life. You'll be able to absorb some key cooldowns from the enemy while negating most of their value. It's also helpful to use your ultimate for its gap close and slow as well, helping you to dive the backline and lock down carries. Your ultimate actually pauses the expiration of your Q, which is helpful when comboing with your ultimate's gap close onto an enemy because you can Q immediately after you land. Keep in mind that you aren't able to cast other abilities while in your ultimate, so be sure to input those before. Volley's ultimate also can be used for its terrain scaling. Even at rank 1, its range is pretty decent, and this opens up opportunities to steal objectives, to turret dive from unconventional angles, or to escape sticky situations when you don't have flash up. Just be sure to use the practice tool before getting too ambitious in solo queue so that you can know your distances. The fifth tip is to maintain Volley's passive stacks. Volley's passive gives him 5% bonus attack speed for each stack, capping at 5 stacks, which is 25% bonus attack speed, which is pretty significant. If you go 6 seconds without attacking or using an ability on an enemy, you'll lose all of your stacks. This can slow down your clear when transitioning through quadrants of the map. To keep stacks between distant camps, you'll want to kite the camp towards your next one while it's on low health. You can then last hit it with auto attacks or W as its patience expires, and then channel your E on the next camp while you're walking towards it. Keep in mind your E takes 2 seconds to channel, so you'll want to cast it as your passive timer passes halfway. At 5 stacks, your passive enables you to double clear camps with the lightning striking up to 4 targets. Double camping also lets you get full value out of your E's AoE damage as well, so this small clear efficiency tip will help you clear a little bit faster. You can also maintain passive stacks by hitting jungle plants, which is super helpful if there's a blast cone or a honey fruit nearby. I'd avoid using the Scryer's Bloom in most cases, as that will show the enemy your location on the minimap and alert them to any ganks. But coming into a gank with an extra 25% attack speed can be a real game changer if you're able to keep passive stacks up. That's going to bring us to the end of this 5 tips video. You now have everything you need to rain down lightning on your enemies and remind them that no turret can save them. Don't forget to stay up to date on the optimal runes, itemization, and matchup information from Mobalytics.gg. If there are any tips that you have for Volibear, or if there are any champions you want to see covered, let us know in the comments down below. I've been your host, Coach Kairos, and I'll see you next time.